gangster. This is someone who's incredibly meticulous, checked off his list as he committed the crimes.
With Shore snapping pictures, Ignato tied Brenda Schaefer to a coffee table and raped her. Then he took her into the back bedroom, where he raped her again, sodomized her, and beat her with a paddle. Shore told police that she left the room. Unable to watch as Ignato immersed a towel in chloroform and held it to Brenda's face until she stopped breathing. Ignato used rope to tie Brenda's body into a fetal position. Then he stuffed her inside garbage bags. According to Shore, Ignato ordered her to help him carry the bundle into the woods.
Hearing the description of folding her up, tying her up, carrying her out to a pre-dug grave, I just couldn't believe what I was hearing, but we were hearing it, and that's what happened.
They were just stunned. I mean, I think they thought Brenda had come to a bad end. They just didn't realize how bad it was.
Now that they had Shore's confession, investigators wanted to catch Ignato talking about the murder. Shore agreed to be wired. A few hours later, she met Ignato in the parking lot of an ice cream shop, and for 13 minutes tried to get him to implicate himself. Coached by the FBI, Marianne told him she had heard that the property behind her house was going to be developed, and that she was afraid of what they'd find. Ignato jumped in.
Will you let me handle it? Will you let me handle it? They won't do nothing, okay? Nothing.
Shore also told Ignato police were pressuring her to take another polygraph test. 10 times during the conversation, Ignato coached her on how to handle the authorities.
Now you're just plain afraid to stand up in the face of authority. That's all it amounts to. You're letting them intimidate you, and they know it. Are they going to tie you up and make you take the damn test? They cannot do anything to you, Marianne. Don't you understand that? Don't you understand it's all a pressure and mind game?
The real Mel Ignato's coming out on that tape, yelling at her, cursing, telling her to have some courage, tell the police to go to hell, that sort of thing. Don't cooperate with them.
Ignato may have revealed his true nature, but he did not ever mention Brenda by name. There was no talk of a body or a grave. Still, investigators were confident they had what they needed. Perhaps too confident. In the early morning hours of January 10th, 1990, police drove to Mel Ignato's house and arrested him for the murder of Brenda Schaefer.
I was really feeling good. I knew it had been a long wait and frustrating wait, but this definitely made it worth the wait.
Later that day, with the help of a cadaver-sniffing dog, investigators unearthed the body of Brenda Schaefer. It was exactly where Marianne Shore said it would be.
The euphoria of the arrest was gone. Now it was a bottomed out feeling again. It was a cold day anyway, in January. And there was just the most somber mood. And we were just in disbelief on how tightly and compact she was bound. To do that to a human being is just beyond reason.
It was a terrible feeling, real bad, but at least we knew where she was. At least we can give her a decent burial.
Whatever relief the Schaefer family felt was soon overwhelmed by a desire to get justice for Brenda. If a jury found Mel Ignato guilty of her murder, he could face the death penalty. Prosecutors thought they had everything they needed: motive, opportunity, a body, even an eyewitness. But the trial wouldn't go as they hoped.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house. The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-281-5824. 800-281-5824.
Whatever happened to the family phone? The one that kept everyone connected. Say hello to Vonage, the home phone service for today, with more ways to stay connected than ever before. With Vonage, you can talk all you like for just $9.99 a month. And when you really need your family, a single call rings at home and on 2 smartphones, so someone's always there for you. You can also use our smartphone app to call the U.S. over Wi-Fi from anywhere in the world for free. And with a simple swipe, you can block unwanted callers for good, so you get to spend time with the people you care about, instead of the people you don't. Switch to Vonage during our extended sales event and get our best offer ever, $9.99 a month for a full year. Plus, receive everything you need to get started free. That's $119 value. Call or go online today. Hurry, don't miss this offer.
Call 1-800-608-9169 or go to buyvonage.com.
Have you or a loved one been prescribed Zofran for morning sickness or nausea while pregnant? Was your child or teenager born with a cleft lip, cleft palate, congenital heart defect, or other birth defect? If so, you may be entitled to compensation. The FDA never approved Zofran for use during pregnancy. It's not your fault. The pharmaceutical companies are to blame. Don't suffer in silence anymore. Call now to speak with a female representative. Call 1-800-397-1589 or visit truthaboutzofran.com.
My motto when it comes to style has always been to stay one step ahead. Make everyone think you know something they don't. That's why I check ShoeDazzle.com every day, because there is always something new and the quality is awesome. They look like $400 shoes, and I got them for 40 bucks. It drives my girlfriends crazy. They're like, how do you always have new shoes? ShoeDazzle has the best styles, and they are so affordable, I can constantly keep my look on point.
Don't wait. Check out our limited time buy one, get one free event, only at ShoeDazzle.com.
Are you happy with your bathroom? I wasn't. But for years, I didn't do anything about it. Like many people, I thought I didn't have the money until I learned about the brilliant solution from Bathfitter. Bathfitter puts a new bathtub right over your old one. Isn't that amazing? Bathfitter will measure and make you a new custom bathtub that they install right over your existing one with beautiful matching walls. That means you don't have to rip out your old tub, so there's no demolition or ridiculous costs. And they do it all in just one day. That's my favorite part. Plus, you get to choose everything. Book a free consultation and find out for yourself. Here's a before and after photo. This is a gorgeous acrylic tub that fit right over the old one. And only Bathfitter has seamless walls, which guarantee a watertight fit. When you change your tub, you change your bathroom, and that can change your life. I know, because I did it. Call today or learn more at gobathfitter.com.
On January 10th, 1990, Malignagno was arrested for the murder of his fiancée, Brenda Schaefer. Unable to make the $500,000 bond, Ignato was locked up in the Jefferson County Jail in Louisville, Kentucky. That same day, authorities discovered Brenda's body in a shallow grave in a small wooded area in Louisville.
Brenda's body was tied up in a perfect package like a suitcase, in very neat and precise knots.
A team of police officers searched Ignato's home for evidence. They found a fraternity paddle, which Ignato allegedly used to beat Brenda, and a camera. But they did not find any of the photographs said to have been taken during the murder. Authorities returned 2 weeks later for another look.
We looked high and low. We went down the basement and he went up through ductwork and insulation. I mean, we really felt like we had done a professional job of searching that home.
Even without the photographs, prosecutors thought they had a strong enough case against Ignato.
under the circumstances, no reasonable person could conclude that this man could be anything other than guilty. All fingers pointed to one individual, Melvin Henry Ignato.
The Schaefer family blamed Ignato for more than Brenda's death. 6 months after they buried Brenda, her mother Essie died.
It was like when she found out that Brenda died. All that hope and everything was gone. She had nothing to hang on to.
7 months after Essie, Brenda's father died from heart disease. The Schaefer murder case made headlines in Louisville, especially after prosecutors released the FBI's secretly recorded audio tape of Mel Ignato.
But they got nothing. They got nothing. And they won't ever have it.
Ignato's lawyer lost a motion to suppress the tape, but was successful in getting the trial moved 100 miles away to Kenton County in northern Kentucky. More than 3 years after Brenda's death, the trial finally began in December 1991. Prosecutor Ernie Jasmine delivered a passionate opening statement. He told the jury how Mel Ignato had tortured and then killed Brenda Schaefer.
He took Brenda Sue Schaefer and tied her while nude to a coffee table and proceeded to have intercourse with her.
The prosecution introduced the taped conversation between Mel Ignato and Mary Ann Shore. But the case hinged on the testimony of Shore herself, who arrived in the courtroom with a short skirt and dyed blonde hair. On the stand, she recounted the details of Brenda's last few hours at the hands of Mel Ignato.
He kept telling her she was here for a sex therapy class, that she needed to have this because she just was very cold-natured and he needed that sex.
With the defendant sitting just a few feet away, Shore told the jury how Ignato made her take part in abusing Brenda.
He asked me to slap her on her bottom, so I slapped her once and that was it. He says, "Is that all you're going to do?" And I said, "Yes."
Why did you slap her on her bottom?
Because he told me to.
The star witness also claimed Ignato forced her to take pictures as he repeatedly raped and sodomized Brenda. But Mary Ann Shore's demeanor and her outfit undermined her testimony.
She did a poor job of testifying. She wasn't properly dressed. She crossed her legs. She came across as a woman capable of murdering.
Ignato's defense attorney, Charlie Ricketts, painted Shore as the killer, the ex-girlfriend jealous enough to commit murder.
She fulfills that promise that she made to herself and to others, that if I can't have Mel Ignato, nobody can have Mel Ignato.
Ricketts informed the jury of Shore's plea bargain, suggesting she would go to any length to be spared the death penalty.
Your testimony, Ms. Shore-in-Law, today is the difference between your life and your death, isn't it?
Yes.
Ricketts emphasized that there was no physical evidence, such as fingerprints, semen, or blood. The prosecution reminded the jury that such physical evidence is rarely found when a body is discovered 15 months after a murder. The defense also argued that the taped conversation between Ignato and Shore was open to interpretation. Ricketts pointed out that some portions were inaudible. For instance, he said it couldn't be determined in one excerpt whether Ignato was saying got or dug.
It's not shallow, that place we took. It's not shallow. So don't let it get you rattled.
Any reasonable person on any jury could have gathered from that tape that they were talking about Brenda's body and the grave where she was.
Still, the defense attorney emphasized that the words Brenda, body, or grave were never uttered. He suggested that Ignato and Shore were really talking about a safe that she had buried in the woods. No safe was ever found. The case went to the jury of 8 men and 4 women on December 21st, 1991. It returned after 6 hours with a verdict. Family members and reporters crowded into the courtroom.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Melvin Henry Ignato, not guilty under instruction number 1.
Mel Ignato was found not guilty on all 7 counts.
It went through me like a knife. It was like somebody pulling the world out from underneath of you. Everyone was extremely upset. A lot of people were crying.
The verdict caused a sensation in Louisville, where public sentiment against Ignato had been building up for months.
It was the biggest shock I've ever seen in Louisville in terms of a crime, because the guy got away with it.
I will never blame anyone other than the jurors for letting Mel Ignato go. They just did not take the case seriously.
The judge, Martin Johnstone, also had harsh words for the jury. Shortly after the trial, he wrote a letter to Tom Schaefer saying, quote, "I am still unable to fathom how a jury could come to such a decision." He closed by writing, "Whether in this world or another, one day justice will be done." The jurors defended their decision, saying there just wasn't a strong enough case to convict.
We were actually collectively, I think, as a jury, wanting to make a conviction, but we were waiting for the shoe to drop.
Jurors said that they had their doubts about what was said on the audio tape, and they considered Mary Ann Shore an unpersuasive witness.
You could believe part of her testimony, but then you couldn't believe other parts.
The tape was even less believable than her testimony to me.
Mel Ignato was released on December 23rd, 1991, after nearly 2 years in jail.
Feels great. I think it's the greatest Christmas present I've ever had.
The state's star witness, still charged with evidence tampering for helping to bury Brenda's body, begged the court for mercy.
Your Honor, I realize the involvement in this whole situation was wrong. I beg mercy upon the court to probate my sentence so I may carry on a normal life.
But Shore was given the maximum sentence, 5 years in prison.
When it's all done, Mary Ann Shore's in jail, and Ignato's walking. You know, it's amazing.
It didn't help that the trial took place right before Christmas, a time of year when juries are most likely to acquit. And yet, Mel Ignato's guilt was about to be proven once and for all, when incontrovertible evidence would come to light.
An arsonist is responsible for hundreds of fires.
The origin of the fire was being found either in the front porch or the rear porch of these homes.
Houses are burning and people are dying.
How cold-hearted could you be?
We knew that was going to be a very difficult case.
On Forensic Files, tonight, 6/5 Central. On the new Escape, Slip Away. A cop killer on the loose.
We recovered a number of items, fingerprints and hearsay.
His identity is known.
Capable of constructing these bombs.
Dangerous and deadly. Stopping a killer.
There's no such thing as a routine call.
On the FBI Files, tonight, 9/8 Central. On the new Escape, Slip Away.
So why switch to Dish?
With Dish, you get more options, you get more value, you get more channels. With Dish, you get more.
Only Dish gives you so much more than any other cable or satellite TV service provider. And you can get more for less. And now, for a limited time, you could save over $900 in just your first year. In fact, Dish customers spend an average of 28% less than DirecTV customers.
I love Dish because of one thing. I save money.
Prices start at just $34.99 a month, but for a limited time, you can get Dish for as little as $19.99 a month for 12 months.
For me and for my family, it comes down to really 3 things. It comes down to price, quality programming, and convenience. With Dish, we're able to get all of that.
And now you can get more for less. Switch to Dish and save with prices starting at just $34.99 a month. But wait, call right now and save even more with promotional prices starting at just $19.99 a month for 12 months. Call now and you can get over 50 premium channels, including HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, Stars, and Blockbuster at home, free for 3 months.
I'm saving tons of money.
Only with Dish can you watch all your live and recorded TV anywhere. So take your TV shows on the go without being charged more for it.
You can decide when, where, what you want to watch, and where you want to watch it.
Now get free installation in up to 6 rooms. Call now and you can get over 50 premium channels, including HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, Stars, and Blockbuster at home free for 3 months. And now you can even get HD free for life with qualifying packages. Plus, for a limited time, you'll get a whole home DVR upgrade free when you sign up. Call today and get the low promotional price of just $19.99 a month. That's a $15 savings every month, but you must call now. It's the biggest deal in entertainment.
Dollar for dollar, Dish gives you more than anybody else.
We are Dish customers for life. We love Dish. We love Dish.
This is one of our best deals ever. Call now to switch to Dish and lock in your savings today.
More ways to watch, more ways to save. And it's only from Dish.
Mike Fincham was diagnosed with colorectal cancer 2 years ago. It was a priority for Mike that he continue to be there for his family throughout his treatment, continuing to live the life he loves. That's why he chose Cancer Treatment Centers of America. There he found a comprehensive array of therapeutic options all under the same roof, designed to fight his cancer, boost his energy, and help him maintain his strength during treatment. Mike and his clinical team developed a plan just for him. This is integrative cancer care. This is how Mike Fincham fights cancer. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. For more information, go to cancercenter.com. Appointments available now.
Now the conclusion of Getting Away with Murder. In December 1991, a jury acquitted Mel Ignato of the murder of his fiancée, Brenda Schaefer. There was widespread belief in Louisville, Kentucky, that the jury had made an awful mistake.
And there was no sin.
Ignato's ex-girlfriend, Mary Ann Shore, still insisted that he was the killer. She claimed the photographs he forced her to take the night of the murder were waiting to be discovered.
He has them. He still has them. Those are very important to him. So he has kept them. I don't know where they are.
Federal prosecutors, also convinced of Ignato's guilt, decided to pursue perjury charges. They enlisted FBI behavioral experts to help develop a profile of the suspect. Interviews with Ignato's past girlfriends and his ex-wife confirmed a disturbing pattern in his sexual history.
Mel Ignato was verbally violent toward the women in his lives. He was sexually violent. We found, going back 17 years, with at least 4 or 5 different women, we found very consistent behavior, bondage as well as recording the activities, as well as participating in degrading and dehumanizing sexual activities. Mel Ignato is what I consider to be a classic sexual sadist.
FBI profiler Roy Hazelwood maintained that if photographs of Brenda Schaefer's torture existed, Ignato would not have destroyed them.
That was his record. That was his trophy. That was the most important part of the entire crime that was still left to be examined.
Hazelwood urged investigators to again search Ignato's home, which had been sold while he was in jail. The new owners, knowing the house had already been checked twice, refused another request. But in October 1992, just days before the perjury trial was to begin, there was a shocking discovery in the house. A carpet installer discovered a hidden heating vent. Inside was a plastic bag containing jewelry and several canisters of film. The new owners immediately called the FBI. The film was taken to the police photo lab. When it was developed, it verified everything Mary Ann Shore had said. Too graphic to be shown on television, the photos, more than 100 of them, show the torture and horrific sexual assault of Brenda Schaefer by Mel Ignato.
They're just gruesome. It's like looking at a snuff film. At the beginning, you can tell that she's mortified and she is being ordered to disrobe and so forth. And then it depicts her being sexually assaulted.
Prosecutors finally had the evidence they needed, but it was too late. Ignato had already been acquitted for murder. Another prosecution was impossible because of the double jeopardy law. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution states that no person for the same offense should twice be put in jeopardy of life or limb.
It's part of the Constitution, and if we didn't have it, we would have prosecutors who would try a case until they finally got a jury to rule in their favor.
It would be unfair for the state to be able to retry anyone. It's the bedrock of our criminal law.
And I think it stinks. When you get evidence like that, they should be able to open up a case.
Right. That was a hard thing for people to understand, the double jeopardy issue. They just felt it was so outrageous that they couldn't go back and prosecute this guy for murder.
All prosecutors could hope for was to convict Ignato on perjury charges for lying to the FBI and the federal grand jury. The charges carried a maximum penalty of 10 years. Prosecutors offered Ignato a deal, 8 years in exchange for a public confession. On October 2nd, 1992, Brenda's brother Tom, a corrections officer, and the rest of the Schaefer family arrived at the court, hoping to glean some small satisfaction from the confession. A flustered Mel Ignato stood before the judge and said, quote, "On September 24th, 1988, I did take Brenda Schaefer over to Marianne Shore's house, and I did physically and sexually abuse her, and I did murder her." She died from having inhaled chloroform. The family could barely stomach the next part of his confession.
He turned to the family and said, "But she died peacefully." After us hearing and knowing what all she went through, he had the nerve to say that. Yes, he did.
Prosecutor Ernie Jasmine felt vindicated, but at the same time, he was still angry with the jury.
Now we got the pictures. Now, what do you folk who decided he was not guilty think of the job you've done?
That's right.
Some jurors now said they were sorry they acquitted Ignato. Others stood by their decision.
I still believe that the jury made the right decision based on the evidence that was presented before us.
A smiling Mel Ignato was taken away to prison.
It was the smirk, the Ignato smirk, and it just irritated people, and they still talk about it. 5, 6, 7 years later, they talk about the Ignato smirk and how he got away with it.
Ignato received credit for the 2 years he had already spent in county jail. More time would be shaved off for good behavior. In February 1998, after 5 years behind bars, Mel Ignato was free again. Before his release, he was indicted on state perjury charges for lying on the stand during the trial of Dr. William Spaulding. In January 2002, he was found guilty and given an additional 9 years, but he will never serve time for the murder of Brenda Schaefer.
Even today, if I even let myself think about what Brenda was put through, I still start crying and almost can't stop. Just the thought of what Brenda went through. Such a good girl, good person. Just so, so unfair.
That's the American justice system.
In an interview with federal officials after his courtroom confession, Mel Ignato confirmed everyone's suspicions. He acknowledged he tortured and murdered Brenda Schaefer because he knew she wanted to break up with him. The law absolutely prevents another murder trial. The principle of double jeopardy means a verdict of not guilty can never be overturned, even if evidence emerges later that might lead a jury to come to a different conclusion. I'm Bill Curtis.
Escape.